All right, lessons from the Epstein files. In 2008, they had the banker bailouts and all that stuff because they said the system was it's too big to fail. They got to bail these systems out. Now we're in a situation where it's too big to jail. We can't jail these people, or else the whole system would collapse. Is what Pam Bondi said, right? We can't. If we were to jail everybody who was in the Epstein files, the system would collapse. Well, the system deserves to collapse if it's being held up by pedophiles and people who associate with pedophilic people who are manipulating and blackmailing people. But my biggest takeaway from these Epstein files is the system is rigged. They do not care about you. They do not care about justice. Justice and nobody above the law, that's for us. That's for the sheep. That's for the small people. They're going to invoke justice on us. They're going to make sure that we follow their laws. This whole system is corrupt. The whole system's, I'm never voting again. I'm out. I'm not doing politics anymore. It's all corrupt at the lowest to highest levels. Everything's fake. Everything's fake, and it's all just a control mechanism to keep us from revolting. And I think that's something that people are not really understanding, is that they never would have released these files if they thought we would actually revolt. If they thought we'd actually do something, they would never have put this information out there. They would have just kept it closed, kept it sealed like they did forever, because they were maybe fearful that people would stand up, because there was a time in this country where people did have a backbone. They would stand up. There was, everybody wasn't compromised. There was some moral compass. People weren't out for the greed and out for the money. So what do we as the people do? We can't do much. We don't control any branch of the military, so we can't have like a true secession or revolt from the federal government. That's not going to happen. We don't have any state leaders who control anything, talking about state secession to create a situation where we could kind of create our own little new colony or new country or new answer to getting away from these corrupt federal politicians. There's not another parallel monetary system that has stepped in and able to keep everybody afloat that we could agree to get away from these bankers. There's nothing out there. So you have to kind of go into business for yourself. Now, I think you should still operate within and have a moral compass. I think maybe your moral compass might need to shift a little. I think you maybe need to think about, am I doing this for righteous reasons that are natural, human, God-given laws, or am I just following these bullshit laws that are set up by this corrupt institution to keep me docile and to keep me from being at their level where I myself am too big to jail? I think that's something we should all aspire to do. Not that we want to go out and do anything nefarious, but how nice would it be that no matter what you do, you don't get jailed because you're at an upper echelon and you're too big to jail, right? You're too big to fail. So we should all be trying to put ourselves in a situation where not only are we independently able to take care of our own needs with our food, water, clothing, survival, stuff like that, but we put ourselves in a situation where we could maybe operate as independently from the situation as possible. We don't have to register everything with the government. We don't have to tell the government about every dollar we make, any of that stuff. So we could be taxed on our money that just goes to uphold this corrupt institution. I'm completely over it in so many ways, and I haven't made a video in a while. I just wanted to come in and say that if this doesn't prove to you that this system is beyond broken, that it is unrepairable, and that we need to start making parallel systems. So maybe, because not in my generation, it's not going to happen in my generation, probably not going to happen in my kids' generation, but maybe 5, 6, 7 generations from now, we're actually operating in a world, which maybe is impossible because this world's fallen, but we're operating in a world that is a little bit more just. There's less corruption. I mean, between the Somali daycares, the Epstein files, it's just known. The whole system's corrupt. Everything's fake. They're stealing your tax dollars. They're not giving back any essential services if they to really help people. If they were, you wouldn't see mental illness and homeless on the streets at an all-time record high. There wouldn't be a housing crisis. You wouldn't have people in America, of all places, going hungry. You wouldn't have people who are veterans who served here disproportionately homeless. it would just be a better system, man. You got these guys running around doing whatever they want on private islands. All the stuff I believe is true. Every single conspiracy theory is proven right. I think a lot of people personally owe me some apologies for over the last like 15 years, but what can you do about that? It's just funny, I haven't had anyone call me crazy in a long time. Haven't anyone said, oh, Lenny's off the deep end in a long time. So I just want to throw that out there. You need to kind of maybe make a shift in terms of how you mentally view this world, what you think's important, how you operate in it. And I think you just need to resource gather as much as possible by almost any means possible. Obviously, have some moral tact to yourself in terms of like, really, like, you don't want to rob, you don't want to cheat, you don't want to steal, you don't want to do stuff like that. But if you're making some cash on the side, I'm not raising my hand to tell the government about it. I'm not doing that shit. And prove me.